Good morning, everyone. The day is Monday, June 16th. My name is Arlisha Wilson. I'll be the chair of today's meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started with the reading of the preamble. We'll start with our standing Madam Secretary.
It's actually administrative assistant. Good morning. My name is Brittany Jones, and I'm going to read the preamble for today, June 16th, 2025. In compliance with the notification requirement of the City Open Meeting Law and Section 101.021 of the Codified Ordinance of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, this notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during this meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstractions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participant panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or the facilitator to recognize you and to be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the webcam screen. Calling users, please unmute by using *6. All meetings and activities
She
are
can
being
barely hear
recorded.
you. I'm going to ask you to raise your voice for the court reporter.
I'm sorry about that. All meeting activity is being recorded via WebEx platform. Proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular matter, case via our website and email. Our requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can we go ahead and call the roll, please?
Ms. Faith?
I am present.
Ms. Hoser?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Mr. Madison?
Present.
Ms. Wilson?
Present. All right. It sounds like we have a quorum. We have all 5 members present today. Do we have any postponements or withdrawals?
We do. We have calendar number 25095. The address is 1798 Crawford Road. That's withdrawn.
All right, that has been withdrawn. If you are here for the matter that is located at 1798 Crawford Road, please note that we will not hear this case today. It has been withdrawn. We'll now go to the top of the agenda and call the first case. Do we have anyone present on behalf of the appellant at 3533 Carlisle?
Hello, yes, this is Kyle Cutler. Good morning.
Oh, perfect. Good morning, Mr. Cutler. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and turn to Ms. Hoser and have you read the case in.
Sure thing. Our first case is calendar number 25-089. This is at 3533 Carlisle Avenue. Kyle Cutler, owner, proposes to change the use from a 2-family dwelling to a 3-family dwelling in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address, please.
I do. Kyle Cutler, that's KYLECUTLER, and the address is 3533 Carlisle Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109.
Thank you. Is there anyone
welcome.
else on the call who would like to speak in this matter? Is there anyone in the room? Hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have history of the property, please?
Yes.
Hold on one second, Ms. Cutler. That's for our team member here to recite. Give us
Okay.
1 moment and we'll have you give us your details.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so the zoning remains the same since 1929. In our Records Administrative Office, we found on January 1926, a permit was issued to enlarge a basement under a one-family dwelling. In March of 1927, a permit was issued to erect a one-story frame garage. April 4th of 1939, a permit was issued to erect an addition to a cover of the two-family dwelling. In calendar 360 in November of 1970, this board overturned a violation issued from Building and Housing regarding an unauthorized use for a three-family. Testimony was given that has been stated that it was used as a three-family prior to the encroachment of the code of 1929. They determined that the use was a three-family and it should remain the same. We also found a permit that was applied for in 1970 to establish the use of a three-family. However, we did not see any occupancy permits being issued to this parcel. So this is why they're here today.
Okay, that is helpful. Thank you so much. Can we have legal, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request, 1, will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance. 2, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights. And 3, that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Under section 337.03C, the Board of Zoning Appeals, upon prescribing proper safeguards to preserve the character of the neighborhood, may grant special permits for the remodeling of existing dwelling houses or the erection of row houses to provide for more than 2 dwelling units, provided that 1, the square feet of lot area to be allotted to each dwelling unit is in accordance with the area regulations included in Chapter 355. 2, the dwelling units to be created will not be smaller than 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. 3, there will be no exterior evidence that a remodeled dwelling house is occupied by more than 2 families, except such as may be permitted by the board. 4, the building will, when altered or erected and when occupied, will conform to all the applicable provisions of the building and housing codes, and as the Commissioner of Building and the Commissioner of Housing so certify. And 5, garage space or hard surface and drained parking spaces will be provided upon the premises for the cars of the families to be accommodated on the premises at the rate of not less than 1 car per family.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to you, Mr. Cutler. Can you please tell us about your project?
Yes. Good morning. So I bought this back in August of last year, and so it's the way it's laid out is the front unit is a 2-story unit, and then the back of the property is there's 1 unit on the bottom half of the back and 1 unit on the top half of the back, and there are when I bought it, there was, 3 separate kitchens. When you call for the utilities, there are 3 accounts with the gas company, 3 accounts with the electrical company. There are 3 hot water tanks, 3 furnaces, 3 gas meters, and 3 electrical panels. And when I purchased this, the only thing connecting the front unit and the top rear unit was a door that they had like locked. Um, so really the only thing to make it 3 separate units would be drywalling where the door is right now. And I had a property management company because when I have never gone through anything like this, so I really didn't know the process. So I had a property management company and they recommended me just doing the work. So I did do the drywall work there to separate, but it's not rented out. It's not operating as a 3-family or anything. And they also recommended that I get the lead safe certificate for all 3 units, and then rental registry for the 3 units. Um, so that's kind of what I did. But yeah, so it's basically just drywalling where the door was to separate the units, and all three units have separate entrances to each of their units. You don't have to walk through any units, and all three of the units have direct access down to the basement as well. And this and I forgot to submit some photos, but I can share my screen if you'd like to see actual photos of that third unit.
Um, I don't think we necessarily need to see photos of the third unit. I would love to hear, though, whether there's any changes being made to the exterior of the house that would give the impression from the outside that it's more than two units.
There is no change to the exterior of the property. It would remain exactly as it's seen today.
Okay, and can you talk to us about the parking arrangements?
Yes, so there is the driveway there, and then there's an alleyway with a two-car garage off the back that tenants would have access to, along as with the driveway as well. And there is spot in the when you pull in the driveway to the right side, if we needed to have additional parking and maybe lay in some cement there. But there's two parking spots in the garage, and the driveway as well for parking.
Okay, so there's two spots in the garage. Where would you fit the car for the third family?
They would have access to the driveway, because the garage actually exits into the alleyway, and it doesn't exit into the driveway.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, it sounds like he plans on using the drive for a parking space, which I'm sure is going to fall into the issue that it's going to be, based on the pictures that I looked at. It's going to be within 10 feet of an opening on the wall of the house, and it also sounds like he has a contingency plan for cementing a parking pad in the front yard area, which also cannot be done for parking. So it, unless he has clearance for that driveway to go past the house so that there's a 10-foot clearance from any opening in the house for the third car, he is not going to have adequate parking for all three units.
Okay, Mr. Cutler, I'll give you an opportunity to respond.
Oh, yes, and the contingency plan for the cement pad, would be in the rear of the property. It wouldn't be in the front.
And is it at least 10 feet away from any opening in the house?
An opening would be windows and door, just confirming.
Correct.
Yes, it should be. Yeah, I'd have to go out. I'd have to measure, but yeah, I believe there is a pretty significant, at least 10 feet. But
Okay.
I could double check that and confirm
You
with the
okay,
board. And
you need to have 10 feet away from any opening in the building to be able to park a car there,
okay,
okay?
that
By
sounds good.
code. All right.
All right,
That
any
sounds
other
good.
questions from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have two.
Okay.
One, just for the record, is your intention for the use of this property short-term or long-term, in terms of leasing?
It is going to be long term.
Thank you. And then, just for the record, if for some reason the variance is denied, can you speak to the unnecessary hardship that might be caused, to you, as it relates to this project?
When I bought it, I was hoping that it could be used as a third unit. So I mean, that would be the only thing. I just have to figure out, what I would do with the unit, because it would be unoccupied. And I had never gone through a zoning, and when I bought it, I really didn't know what that entailed. So that would be the only thing, is just kind of figuring out a plan of attack, essentially, for what I could do for that other vacant top rear unit.
Thank you. Those are all my questions, Madam Chair.
All right, any other questions from the board?
think you-
Madam Chair,
Go ahead,
go ahead.
Ms. Faith.
The only other question was, the third unit, well, all three, just, it sounds like the front is a two-story, but the
Yes.
back two units, are they larger than 2 rooms with a bathroom?
Yes, yeah. The back units, they have a kitchen when you walk in. Then they have a bathroom. Then they have a small dining area. And then they have a living room to the right, and then they also have the bedroom is on the I think that's west side of the home.
Okay. Do they have more than one means of egress?
Uh, they each have the um the lower unit has a direct entry to the outside, and then they also have a rear entry that they can get out, and then the top unit, to get out of the property you have to go down steps, and then you can exit out of the side of the home on the rear end of the house.
Okay. Do you have a fire ladder or anything else installed for them for egress from the second floor besides that stairs?
I do not. No.
Okay, you're gonna need, another way for them to get out besides those stairs.
Okay, I can certainly do that. There is, and this probably doesn't count because but there is a back a balcony that we probably could do something off of, but I could certainly get that
Yeah,
installed.
you could do something off of that.
Okay, okay,
Okay, great.
perfect.
That's all I have.
Thank
All
you.
right. Other questions from the board?
No, Madam Chair, Ms. Faith addressed my question.
All right. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I'd just like to
Sorry.
chime in for City Planning's recommendation. We recommend approval. The changes of the home aren't going to interfere with the context of the neighborhood. There's already a couple of 3 families around this area, and we would agree with the comments made by board member Faith that approval be made with the condition that the applicant address the second means of escape. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, on calendar number 25-089, with the condition that the, parking place for the third unit is, 10 feet away in the rear yard, excuse me, in the rear yard, 10 feet away from any opening in the building, and that a second form of egress be installed for the rear second floor unit. I move approval for that, for this calendar number 25089.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Is there a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Hoser,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25089 will be granted conditionally, and once we have the things we need, it will be ratified.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. I really appreciate everybody's time.
You are very welcome. You are all set. Good luck with your project.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're now going to
All
move
right, bye.
to calendar number 25-093. Do we have a representative present from Meadow City LLC? Okay, perfect. You can come forward and I'll have Ms. Hoser read the case while you do that.
Our next 2 cases are calendar numbers 25-093 at 14923 Waterloo Road and calendar number 25-094 at 14913 Waterloo Road. For the first case, Meadow City LLC proposes to install a 100% opaque board-on-board 6-foot-tall fence in front yard setback on a City of Cleveland land bank lot in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And again, for the second case, Meadow City LLC proposes to install a 100% opaque board-on-board 6-foot-tall fence in a front yard setback on a City of Cleveland land bank lot in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. And again, one section for that one as well. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. My name is Julie Slater.
You're on the mic.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that, yeah.
I do. My name is Julie Slater, JulieSlater, and my address is 25740 Lakeshore Boulevard in Euclid, Ohio.
Is there anyone on the call for this case? Anyone else in the room? I'm not seeing anyone. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Roca. I'll go ahead and go to history of the property, please. Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No change in the zoning since 1929. No records on file in our administrative office. No variances on file, and nothing of note in our Acela system in the most recent history.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request, 1, will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district. 2, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights. And 3, that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. I'll now turn to you. Can you tell us about your project?
Sure. So I own Meadow City Native Plant Nursery, which is located up the street from this property. This property, there are 4 parcels just to the east that are owned by Meadow City, and then these 2 vacant lots that we are applying for the variance of today, those we're leasing from the land bank. Those 6 parcels altogether, we hope to use to grow native trees and shrubs for sale at our nursery around the corner. And the nurseries, those parcels are along the I-90 Marginal Road. The neighboring properties have their back fences along the Marginal Road. And for us, this is our front yard fence. The adjacent backyard fences are 6 foot tall and wood fences, and we'd like to put in some fences that would basically match theirs in appearance. And for us, this would allow us to grow plants on the site and protect them from deer and provide some security.
Okay, understood. And did you say that Meadow City does not own this parcel? You're leasing it
The
instead?
2 parcels, yes, we don't own them. We are leasing them from the land bank.
Okay, and do you have authorization from the owner to be here and request this variance today?
Yes, yeah, I believe they communicated with the zoning.
Okay, perfect. Can we confirm that?
Yes, we have emails from the land bank staff. I didn't print them out because
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, anything else to add?
No.
No? All right, any questions from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just the question on if the variance isn't requested, can you speak to the hardship that's caused?
Sure.
To the property or the project?
If we can't build a 6 foot fence there, we wouldn't be able to use it to grow plants because at the very least deer would get in. So we would be restricted to the 4 parcels that we already own and have a zoning variance on.
Thank you.
Okay, and those 4 parcels, do you have a 4 foot or 6 foot fence on those?
We are in the process of building a 6 foot fence. So we do have a zoning variance for those already, but now we're applying for the neighboring fences.
Okay, understood. Any other questions from the board? All right, any thoughts from city planning?
Hello, my name is Xavier Bay. I'm representing City Planning. I also would like to mention that the Councilman Polenzek had submitted a letter of support for the previous variances and these 2 that we're hearing today
Okay,
to Meadow City LLC. We're in support of the variances being requested. The context of the neighborhood, as was mentioned, there's not much on this street. You know, it's directly across from a sound barrier for the highway, and there's already a couple of fences lining the street here. We think that it's good for this use to actually activate those few parcels that are on the street. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, we've been expecting Ms. Slater back for this, so, and we know that the councilman has offered his full support, for this project, particularly since there's, really no other viable use for these particular parcels. So with that being said, we're happy to see them continue growing their business. No pun intended in that case. So I move that we approve calendar number 25093 and 25094.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Is there a second on both of those motions?
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Hoser,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, calendar number 25093 and calendar 25094 is granted, and we will ratify June 30th.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You're
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
All right, well, that concludes our cases for today. I will now move to old business. We have up for ratification numbers 1, 2, 3, and 5. Any objection to ratifying either of these?
No objection.
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 All right, all of 4 will be ratified without objection. We do have one affirmation in calendar number 24-195. This is at 2465 East 71st Street. The appellant needs additional time to do what needs to happen to get their variance. Any objection to granting additional time for this?
Is this their first extension?
It's my understanding this is their first extension. Ms. Jones, can you confirm?
Yes, it's their first extension.
Sure, no objection.
All right, so that will be affirmed without objection. We also have a rehearing request. This is in calendar number 25-080, where the board unanimously voted to deny a group home variance. Someone called by the name of Mr. Fleming, and he stated that he wanted to talk to all of his neighbors and invite them to the house. And he did that. And apparently Ms. Hairston, which is a neighbor who was present at the hearing, changed her mind about her support for the project. Any discussion regarding whether we should grant a rehearing?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Roca.
so similar to the rehearing request we had, well, this case is similar to the rehearing request that we had a couple weeks ago, in that a neighbor expressed a viewpoint after the hearing. But unlike that case, there was a notice issue, a procedural issue, where those neighbors had not received proper notice as required by the code. Here, we do not have that issue. We don't have any procedural issues. It doesn't appear that there's a notice issue or any other issue with the legal process. So I do not see a legal justification for rehearing this case.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Ms. Faith, you were going to chime in?
Right. My comment is much along the lines of Ms. Roca's. We like to see them have community engagement before they come before us in the first time. And I think really the pivotal issue with this particular case is the saturation in the particular adjacent area. I think we had, Mr. Bay can refresh our memories, but I think we had two existing and one pending already within the perimeter of 1,000 feet. So it's really a concentration issue, not necessarily an issue of just having the neighbors engaged.
Yes, I tend to agree with the both of you. I know that there was no support from the councilman
Correct.
here, and it's my understanding that that has not changed. And again, like you said, Ms. Faith, the concentration of group homes is something that we weighed heavily on to deny this variance request. So any further discussion before we take a vote?
Madam Chair, I'll also note that the appellant has an appeal right as well. So.
Absolutely.
Rather than seeking rehearing, one of their other remedies would be to appeal.
Absolutely, Ms. Roca. I think that's a great point.
And Madam Chair, just for the record, I am also in agreement with my colleagues as well, based on the testimonies and comments they shared already.
Okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the rehearing request.
Madam Chair, I move that we decline the request for rehearing for calendar number 25-080.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Is there a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Ms. Hoser,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, that means calendar 25080 will remain. Thank you.
All right, so the rehearing request is denied for 25-8080. That concludes our business for today. I will go ahead and adjourn us now at 10:01. Have a great day, everyone.